Hi everyone, I hope you guys are well. Um, it's been a rough week for me. I'm just going to say that straight out. Um, it's been a hard week and I wasn't well throughout the week, and I don't want to get into kind of why or anything, but because of the knock-on effect of this week, I've only really been able to read the book I'm here to review yesterday. I pretty much read the entire thing in one day, but I was really tired last night, so I left the last 50 or so pages to this morning. And as I said, I've had a really rough week. I've not been well, and I got out of reading The Handmaid's Tale. So I really needed something quick, something fluffy, something easy, to just a palate cleanser, just to get me kind of back on track. And for that, this book really worked. But I've got issues with the book. And the book in question is Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella. As you may know, if you've seen my other videos, Sophie Kinsella is the only kind of chick lit author who I read. I love her books. I've got all of her books. Again, kind of just as with other books, I have where if I've got books in a certain format, I have to wait for each new book that comes out to be in that format. So all of Sophie's books I have in paperback, so I've had to wait about a year in order for this to come out in paperback. She's got a new, a more recent, should I say, book out, which came out in March, I think it was, because it was for Mother's Day, so it's still available in hardback, so I'll have to wait a while until that's available in paperback. And she's got the next Shopaholic book coming out in, I think, December. I'm really excited about it because I love her Shopaholic books. So Sophie Kinsella, as I said, she's my favourite chick lit author. I know I can rely on her for these kind of books where I just need to have a bit of a break from various things going on, and just have an easy yet not stupid kind of read, in a sense. I'm not saying that all chick lit writers are stupid reads, because they're not. It's just some chick lit I'm just like, no, this is just wrong. No. But Sophie, the way that she writes, the depth of her characters and such, I really like that. I really like her. So Surprise Me is about a woman called Sylvia and her husband Dan, who are twin girls, and they basically are perfect for one another. They know everything possible about each other. They finish each other's sentences. They know what each other's thinking, all that kind of stuff. And one day they have a check with their doctor for their health insurance, and he tells them that they've been together 10 years, married for 7, and he tells them that they've probably got another 68 years together, and it freaks the hell out of them because they have this very reliable way of living. They always go to the same restaurants, they always order the same thing, they know, as I said, what each other are thinking, what they're doing, all that stuff. And they kind of think, okay, we need to do something different. So Sylvia comes up with this idea of them surprising each other with presents or whatever, and to spice things up. But of course, because it's a chick lit book, things don't go right, and various accidental things are revealed, various secrets are revealed along the way. So this is like, I think maybe the 20th book or something that Sophie Kinsella has written. There's so many of them because she's got the Shopaholic series, which is about 8 books. She's got the 5 or 6 books that she wrote before she wrote under her real name, Sophie Kinsella. She wrote under the pseudonym Madeline Wickham, and then she has all of her standalone books, and this is one of her standalones. So she's got quite a range of stuff that she's written, a range of characters and that. And last year, I can't remember, or right at the beginning of this year, I read My Not So Perfect Life, which I reviewed, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, it's not her best, but it's not her worst, and all this lot. And I was reading this, and yesterday I was like, I think this is the worst that she's ever written. I really honestly do. And even though, it didn't make me want to stop reading it or anything, but I continued on, and then I hit about page 290, which is like where I stopped last night because I was tired and everything. And then I started reading this morning, and all the stuff that I've read this morning was great. It was fantastic. I really loved the depth that she went with Sylvia, the things that got revealed, things that I didn't expect got revealed, which is always a bonus because sometimes, you know, with Chitlet, you know exactly what's going to happen. Sophie's fallen into that trap for me before, but the way in which she's approached it has gone at a slightly different angle or something. Whereas there was an event that happened in the very last chapter, last half of the very last chapter in this book, which I could tell was going to happen. I was like, yeah, it happened. But that other first half of that book and the whole, you know, I think it was about 50 pages or something that I read before getting to that chapter this morning, I did not see coming. And I loved how she went really bold. Sylvia stood up for herself. She became this completely new woman by what was revealed, and I loved that. I loved it. In a sense, she kind of had that makeover moment that you know, you sometimes you get in Chitlick where the ugly duckling gets turned into a beautiful swan sort of thing, but it was on her own terms, and it's not necessarily a makeover on the outside, it's on the inside. And there is a conversation that she has in that first half of that final chapter with someone, and I love it because it is so subtle, it's so beautiful, and it's a mammoth moment but it's just two people sat in a room having a conversation, a very calm conversation. And sometimes, I love that Sophie is saying that sometimes in life, it's not big, mammoth, crazy kind of stuff that you do. It can be something as simple as talking to an individual that makes a big, big difference. Or as she's shown in other sections of her book, sometimes just going around to a neighbour's house and saying, hi, how are you doing, you know, kind of thing. I loved that. What I didn't love, as I said, was from the beginning of the book all the way up to like that page 290 point. That kind of fell into a formula that she's followed before. I'm not saying I'm getting bored of her formulas. It's just sometimes it was just kind of, this is meant to be a laugh out loud moment, and I'm not laughing. I can tell what's going to happen in the next minute. There were silly things. There were annoying things. There were characters who I didn't necessarily like, but then obviously as a book, you're going to like some characters, you're going to hate other characters. It's the way it is. So I'm not going to put her down for that, but I'm just expressing how I felt about it. I found Dan really interesting. Now, knowing the end of the book, going back over, I think it would be quite interesting, because the first chapter you actually open with Sylvie discovering like this kind of secret, as it were, and then it jumps back to like 8 weeks or 6 weeks before or something like that, and then everything kind of runs forward until you meet up to that point, and then you go on forward from there. So I'd like to reread it, and now that I understand Dan better, I think it'll be better a second time round read for me, for his character in particular. But I like the fact that she doesn't fall. With her characters, I think that's why I really love her work so much, is that she doesn't necessarily fall into stereotypes with her main couple, her main characters, but she will fall into stereotypes with other secondary characters. So I like that unpredictability thing of her main characters. So when I was saying about, well, I knew that was going to happen, it's comical moments like she's going to get caught out by something that she said because she knows a secret that she's not meant to know from the previous scene. So it's obvious that she's going to accidentally say something, so it's unpredictable, yeah, it is predictable at the same time. And yeah, those first like 290 pages or whatever were kind of obvious. I didn't laugh out loud, but I still enjoyed it. It was only when I read those last like 60, 70 pages, it was like, oh my God, that is why I love Sophie, for how she built up this situation and then revealed something with a tiny sentence that completely changed everything. So yeah, I'm happy for Sylvie and Dan. I'm happy that Sophie wrote Sylvia and gave her the ending that she has, and also the fact that usually it ends, or chicklet end, should I say, that the couple end up in this dream scenario, that everything is sunshine and daisies and that. I think this is the first time she's actually written a book where the ending doesn't necessarily have everything tied up, and it's, that that today is a happy day, but tomorrow might not be, and that's okay. She's saying it's okay, So, and I like that about her and everything. So, yeah. So it is one of her worst, but it's her best book, that of ending wise. So I'm happy for what she's done. So yeah, it seems weird to say it's probably her worst, but yet her best at the same time. But that's the thing about book structures. You can really love certain sections of it, and I just happen to really love the ending of this one. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella. I would recommend it. Like I said, I probably would give it another go now that I know what the reveal was at the end, and to understand Dan a bit more. That it shouldn't be that you have to necessarily read a book a second time round in order to understand someone better, but I don't know. But that's all I can think of to say about Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella. So if you read this book, I'd love to know what you think. You can leave me a comment in the comments box below, or give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, entirely to you, I'll let you decide. And I'll be back to announce what book I'm going to be reading next. Alright guys, bye!